let's talk about setting priority, okay? Because when you set priority, identifying value is what's key. Which project on the screen, which should be first? It's which project has a high-risk deadline? So a lot of times we have a compliance, right? And if you work in any type of financial industry, there's a lot of things that say, here's a new financial regulation, and if you don't get it done by this date, you're gonna be fined, right? So that's a key. You have to assess that. Some projects may help you deliver projects after it. So if a project takes 2 weeks to deliver and whatever you deliver in that project is actually gonna help you deliver the projects after it, that makes most sense. But the first bullet point I'll have up here is which project provides the most value. So if you assess all of your projects, now let's take a look at the 5 houses and we talk about which project has the most value. Maybe there is one family that doesn't have access to a shelter and they're living on the street. And the 4 families all have shelter assignments, so they're not living on the street. I would choose the family that's living on the street first because it gives them the most value. So you can think about your projects, question everything I'm saying right now, and say, what has the most value? Which one should we do first? And you can also think about what she said. Is there a deadline? And number 3 I have up here is there a project that can help us deliver the projects after it? Which project should be last? If I can let it go for a long time and it's really just not that big of a deal, right? It's not time sensitive. And if you think about this, if it's not time sensitive, then it doesn't bring me much value. You can make that assumption. Because if it brought me a lot of value, I would do it right now. But if it's not time sensitive, then the value that it's gonna bring is not really that important. How do you manage the stakeholders' expectation for being the last project on? So if you're the person who's responsible for house number 5, and when you report upwards to the board or the CEO, how do you wait 16 weeks to tell the CEO I haven't started on this project? That's a challenge I know that everyone faces in a lot of businesses based on my experience. Just know that this is an art. How you communicate that, how you have that discussion with whoever's in charge calling the shots of priority, that's not a skill set. There isn't a skill that I can stand up here and teach you that you can say, follow this, and you can have the best conversation with the executive to tell them, I'm not gonna do anything on this project for 16 weeks because I don't have the resources. It's not a skill, it's an art form. So you have to approach it in that way. Progressive elaboration may eliminate the last project and prevent costs. What is progressive elaboration? That's such a project management technical term. All it means is that what I know now may be a lot less, it will be a lot less than what I know after progressively elaborating through the project and learning more. So if you start a project now, you think you're going in one direction. After 3 months of learning about the nature of that project, you decide we don't want to go north, we want to go east. East makes most sense for us. That means you've progressively elaborated your knowledge in the project, and now you're making the best decision how to move 3 months down the road, even though it's a different decision from when you started. Okay, so just know that as you get through house number 1 and house number 2 and house number 3, you may realize, hey, these 3 houses can fit all 5 families. If you got to house number 3 and it could fit all 5 families, you wouldn't even need to build 4 and 5. You'd save cost progressively elaborating through and building your knowledge of it.